What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a little bit of an update video in relation to some of the Chicago Bulls players and some injuries that have been sustained throughout this period of time that could affect the damage or potentially the start of the season for the Chicago Bulls. And one of them I think is a relatively positive sign, but the other one is obviously a big blow for the Chicago Bulls, and we'll be discussing all about that in this video. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about these two players and the potential injury updates. I guess the first one to get out of the way is the one that we've all known that has been injured, Coby White. Coby White received or had a shoulder injury. He had surgery a very long time ago, and he's expected to make a full recovery, I think for many people, a lot sooner than expected. Coby White was meant to return at the beginning of the season, and it looks like the due date, or I guess the set date for Coby White, is going to be in November. And as I said, I think this is a little bit of good news, because the reality is, if you asked many people, I think they were targeting December to the beginning of next year. And the fact of the matter is, he is set to return in November, which is a very good sign for the Chicago Bulls. And it means that he is doing very, very well. And that's obviously a positive sign for the Chicago Bulls looking into next season. We might get Coby White a little bit earlier than expected. And that's exactly what... that's a positive thing for the Chicago Bulls, at least to say the least. And I'm very, very happy with that situation. Coby White coming back in November gives him a little bit of time to adjust, because at the end of the day, it's a very long season. He's going to have his time. We're going to have to be very patient, but he can potentially be a really good player coming off this bench for the Chicago Bulls. And the fact that we're going to get to see him a little bit earlier than anticipated is exactly what I like to hear. That's the great news of the Chicago Bulls video, that he is looking to come back a lot earlier than what we anticipated. I personally had anticipated December. I didn't expect November. I know they said it a very long time ago that he's going to come back at the start of the season, but as time went on, you know, these types of injuries, they can have long-lasting effects on a player, especially a chance to get re-injured as well. We need to be very, very careful about this situation. And a lot of players that you see that have major injuries when it comes to their shoulder, their leg, their back, they always take a few months, even more, to just try and get themselves prepared. So hopefully Coby White will be very well prepared for the upcoming season, and hopefully he can show his durability on the court like he has the last 2 years. And there is a negative to this video, ladies and gentlemen. Someone that I don't think many people thought would be injured at this point in time has sustained an injury, and his name is Patrick Williams. That's right, the second-year player, the one that we have a lot of high hopes for. He has received a severe ankle injury and will be out for 4 to 6 weeks. Now, basically, this means he will be missing, I guess, a lot of the training camp in the preseason. He's definitely missing the preseason, and he will miss the beginning of the regular season as well. We've now lost two really significant players on this team for the beginning of the season. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, it is important to know, and it's important to understand the importance of having a team filled with depth. Now this depth is going to be put to the test, because the reality is we lost a key player in Patrick Williams. We lost a key scorer in Coby White. These two players will not be here for the start of the season. So the reality is injury concerns have already hit us very early, and it has hit other teams as well. But obviously, it's a Chicago Bulls channel. It's hit us now as well. So we need to find ways where we can make up for that lost, I guess, player with the next man stepping up. So you assume if it's Stanley Johnson that's going to get that guaranteed contract, he has to step up. Alize Johnson could potentially be a starting power forward in preseason and the regular season. He needs to step up. DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball, Nikola Vucevic, 4 players there that are going to be doing their thing, will need to step up in ways that Patrick Williams may have been able to help, like rebounding, like defense. These are the things that are going to matter for the Chicago Bulls. I truly think this is a huge loss, because Patrick Williams is on the verge, in my opinion, of having a really strong season, and this is not a good way to start it, in my opinion. And again, it sucks to have two really important players, in my opinion, out for the Chicago Bulls. But at the end of the day, every team's going to face this, and the Chicago Bulls are facing it now. I think we're pretty lucky to have the type of schedule that we do have for the Chicago Bulls, where maybe it won't be a terrible, terrible thing to see these two out for at least the beginning of the season. But the reality is, now we need to show how important depth is going to be for this team. obviously Patrick Williams being out, our power forward position has once again become an issue. And the reality is there's not much there in terms of Alize Johnson that can play in that power forward position. So who's going to be next? Who's going to be the man to step up and play in that position? Who's going to be the guy that comes into this team ready to play and ready to give everything that they have while we take the step up? Who's going to be that guy? Because we're going to need that guy for this period of time, for the next 2 weeks at the beginning of the season, preseason, and everything of those sorts. We need players now to step up, and this is what we need to wait and see about. This is now why preseason is very important, because we get to see those players step up, and the players that do step up will probably get a chance on this team. And of course, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully these injuries don't drag out longer than what they need to be. Hopefully that due date of Coby White is in November, and that is obviously a good sign, a little bit earlier than I anticipated. Hopefully Patrick Williams' ankle injury is not as bad as first anticipated, and hopefully it is only 4 weeks, so he can come back relatively early in the season and not wait until November like Coby White. Bulls Nation, just to give an update on that situation about Patrick Williams, it turns out that 4 to 6 week time frame was apparent from the occurrence of that injury. And funnily enough, the Chicago Bulls, that occurrence of that Patrick Williams injury was actually the 15th of September, which has been already a week ago, pretty much, a little bit over a week ago. So the return date for Patrick Williams could be before the beginning of the season or right around the beginning first 5 games of the season. So it's a little bit more of a positive news story than I guess first anticipated, because it was very, very bad the way that the Chicago Bulls announced that 4 to 6 week time frame. So hopefully he can be back by the time the regular season starts, or if it is just a little bit after, it's much better than expecting November, very similar to what Coby White would be. So at the end of the day, everything I say remains true. Obviously, it still sucks that he was injured, and it would be much preferable if he wasn't injured. But again, it's still the next man up mentality. We need to see players step up and rise to the occasion for the first, I guess, couple games of the season until we get our players back. And that's always the positive sign, that we have a bench, that we signed a lot of good players off of this bench, or at least points to prove players on this bench. And we shall wait and see what happens in relation to the Chicago Bulls and, of course, our injury updates. But it is a little bit of I guess, bittersweet moment, considering he is injured, but it may not be as bad as we first anticipated heading into the start of the season. The reality is, I don't know. I can't predict these things, and it's very sad to hear these things. But the reality is now, as a team, we all need to step up on behalf of these players now that they are no longer on this team for this period of time. It's time to step up. This is the message for all the Chicago Bulls players that need to hear this. For all the fans that don't want to believe this, or all the fans that think we're doomed, it's now time for these players to step up. We still have our core pieces in place. We still have Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic. 4 of those players that were in the top 100 that we were talking about yesterday, they're still in this team at the moment. So hopefully these things don't affect the Chicago Bulls too badly in this upcoming season. But again, it's a long season. We have so many games to play, and of course the start of the season is just as important as the end of the season. So we'll wait and see how we do, and hopefully the Bulls don't end up losing a lot of games because of this. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Hopefully these 2 players will end up getting better soon. Hopefully they'll come back ready and firing on all cylinders, and hopefully the Chicago Bulls, at the end of the day, one way or another, will have a strong team to participate in this upcoming season. I do not wish this team was like the Boston Celtics last year, where they had most of their players injured at different times and you never saw their full starting 5 healthy together. I hope this is not going to turn out to be the case for the Bulls, and God willing that it isn't. And we shall wait and see how this goes. Have a wonderful and safe day, Bulls Nation. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.